Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard Cisneros at your service. Today I'll be reading the August 18th daily inspirational message, the condensed version. It's 2 paragraphs long. Then I'll send myself, say a little prayer, and then make a few comments on the message. And if you find the message of use, please be so kind as to like the video. Okay, here we go. The title: The Gatekeeper of Your Mind. The Gatekeeper of Your Mind. Paragraph 1. You are the gatekeeper of your mind. You define the world you see and interact with. You have final say about what enters and what is stopped at your mind's gate. Just as there exists an outer world, there also exists an inner world. In this inner world, your thoughts are its inhabitants. The level of peace or stress in your inner world is directly correlated to the inhabitants that you allow to enter your kingdom. The more you invite, allow in, focus on, and support positive, peaceful, loving, and kind inhabitants in your mind, the more positive, peaceful, kind, and love-filled your days will be. The more negative, destructive, fearful, and unkind that inhabitants you allow through your gate, the more stressful, difficult, hopeless, and chaotic your days become. Paragraph 2. Today, let us practice taking greater personal responsibility for the world that we are seeing, defining, and experiencing. The world we see out there must begin with the thoughts we think. It is through our thoughts that we define this world. If this world is defined by us, then we have control over our experiences, including our levels of peace and pain. Today, let us recall that as love's children, we all have a right to live in a loving world. We help create a more loving world by allowing only loving thoughts to get through our mind's gate. Then these loving thoughts, those that are supportive, positive, peaceful, loving, kind, joyful, forgiving, and compassionate, become our building blocks. We can then use these building blocks to help design a world that our children will be happy to inherit. All right. The gatekeeper of your mind. Okay, today I'm going to make 5 points that I trust will assist both of us in the implementation of today's daily inspiration. Point number 1. Okay, we're going to make a very concerted effort today to guard our minds. And so say something to yourself like, okay, I have final say of what thoughts I allow to enter into my mind. I have final say to let these thoughts remain in my mind, those that come in, or dismiss these thoughts and kick them out. And so remember, in point number 1, I, or you, have final say of what thoughts I allow, or you allow, into your mind. So we are the guardians, the gatekeepers of our kingdom, our mind. And so we make the final decision of what thoughts come into our kingdom. Point number 2. Say to yourself something like, the thoughts I focus on and think are the inhabitants that I allow to live in my kingdom. So whatever is living inside you, whatever thoughts are living inside your mind, you, consciously or not, have allowed them in, and you have made them a bigger part of your community. Little communities, you have little communities in your mind. And so if your communities are judgmental, if they're angry, resentful, fearful, hateful thoughts, they create little communities inside your mind. And because you focus on them and you allow them to live inside of you, it's not going to be a very pleasant kingdom. But thankfully we have free will. And so we can allow kind, compassionate, merciful, graceful, joyful thoughts pass our mind's gate. And so when we allow these thoughts pass our mind's gate, and they come in, and they reside within us, and we support them with our time, focus, and energy, what kind of world do we begin to create within our minds? A loving, light-filled world. And so you can create a hell inside your kingdom or a heaven inside your kingdom, simply by choosing which thoughts, aka inhabitants, you allow to pass through your mind's gate. Point number 3. Let us remember that whatever the thoughts are that we have allowed through our mind's gate into our kingdom now become the life we are experiencing, because it is through these thoughts that we define our experience. And so if our thoughts are dark in nature, are out of alignment with the love that God is, then we have a stress-filled life. We have a fearful life. We have a life where anger and resentment rule. We have, in essence, a hellish life. Again, equally so. We can do the opposite. We can allow peaceful thoughts to reside within. We can allow thoughts that support and make us decide that we can't trust God, and thus we don't have to worry or doubt or fear so much. We can allow thoughts that are compassionate in nature. And what happens then? We have a heavenly type of life. Because if these thoughts within your mind, within your kingdom, are heavenly in nature, are loving in nature, then that's the lens you view this world through. And so now the world becomes a more loving place. Not because anything out there changed, but because of the inhabitants in your kingdom that are defining your experience. That's point number 3. Remember, your thoughts are directly correlated, and your life is directly correlated, I can say this, correlated to the life you have, or the inhabitants are correlated to the life you experience. Sorry. Point number 4. Okay, let us today take personal responsibility and stop blaming the outer world. Remind yourself, okay, I define the world that I'm seeing and thus experiencing. I define that. Whatever this world looks like, I defined it through the thoughts that I hold, thoughts and beliefs that I hold within my kingdom. And so only I can lead myself to a heavenly, light-filled, peaceful, joyful mindset and thus life, or equally so to a dark and hellish mindset and thus experience in this world. And so in point number 4, we stop blaming the outer world and we start taking personal responsibility for how we're choosing to define our experience. Remembering that how we define our experience is simply a factor of what thoughts we have allowed into our kingdom, into our minds. That's point number 4. And the final point is point number 5. As God's children and creations, let us remember that because our Father is love, that is our inheritance. We are love's children and creations, and therefore our inheritance, what we truly have available to us in each and every moment, if we so choose, is to accept our inheritance as love's children and creation. And so we are worthy of a loving world. We are worthy of having happy, joyful, kind, compassionate, generous, charitable thoughts. We can allow them into our kingdom because we are worthy of those thoughts. And we can also deny the entry of those hellish thoughts, of those thoughts of judgment and anger and resentment and hate and revenge and fear and doubt and shame and guilt. We can block them from entry into our kingdom. because our inheritance says that we are worthy of love and that we don't have to accept the darkness. We don't have to allow it into our minds and thus have our minds define this world in a darkened way. No. We today accept our inheritance as love's creation, and we remember that every loving thought we gladly allow into our kingdom through our mind's gate, and we block everything else, all the hellish thoughts, because they are unworthy of the truth in us, which is that love. All right. I hope that was somewhat helpful. Thank you for your time. I love you very much, and God willing, we'll see each other tomorrow. Peace.